So the plan is we'll get up reasonably early tomorrow and do our first border crossing outside of into a non-EU country. So yeah, so that should be a little bit more adventurous. As we're driving further south, there's just more and more olives and wine growing. So we're obviously coming into Croatia's sort of, other than Istria, main sort of olive and wine growing region. One thing Croatia is not short of is islands. There's a lot of them down there, and beautiful, beautiful, stunning, lovely, gorgeous views. And the blue sky makes it so much better. So when we were in Slovenia, we met a lady by the name of Monique, and she messaged us yesterday to recommend that as we head south through Croatia, we come and visit the small town of Trogir. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we're nearly there. We're going there this morning on our way as we head down south. And it looks a lovely little island between the mainland and another island. And we just got an aerial view of it as we were coming down the mountain. So we're going to go and check out that town. So thank you for the recommendation, Monique. So we've come down to Trogir, which actually, amazingly, is a World UNESCO Heritage Site. I didn't actually know that. So we're just going to go over the bridge and check out this little island. Just to give you a sense of where we are, that's actually the mainland. That is another island. And then Trogir is actually the small island in between the two. And it's a really hustly bustly, busy little island. It's a Venetian island. The fortress, which was built in the 1400s, was to protect the local town. And again, crystal clear blue waters and blue skies for us today. So we've come out onto the bridge between the two islands, and the marina is absolutely beautiful. But it's actually quite funny because the bridge we're stood on, every time a car goes across, the bridge actually moves. You can actually feel it bouncing.
Is it open?
And I know the GoPro's got image stabilization, but you probably can't pick it up. But it is going up and down.
Because it opens, look.
It's because there's a gap. Actually, yeah, you'd like to think that there's a pin through there. I just can't explain the charm of this place as you're walking around these little narrowed cobbled streets. How awesome does that look? And if you thought it would be really quiet during low season, there's a big tour group that's just walked past us, so it looks like it's busy all year round.
I think the World Heritage Sites and the really beautiful places are always going to be
busy.
packed.
We've come to the entrance of the cathedral, and the detail of the stonework on this doorway is absolutely phenomenal. It may be a small little town, but it definitely makes up for it in character.
It packs a punch.
It packs a punch. The views are just fabulous. See, if you turn down there, there's a beautiful little alley.
Every turn.
Down there is a beautiful alley. Down there is a beautiful little alley. It's just absolutely lovely. Is it me, or does that door look really wonky?
It's the door.
It's the door's wonky.
I think they added the spire on later on, and it's like weighing down that side.
It's definitely tilting that way. And on the northern end of the island, you can see the main fort behind me. You enjoying this nice weather?
It's just beautiful, and what I'd like to say is you must come here and lose yourself. We have been walking around for a couple of hours now, and it's one of those places, a little bit like Venice. You just meander through all the little streets.
And Piran was a bit like that.
Piran was the same. It's got that real Venetian feel. It's the water, the sun, the little cobbled streets. This is
awesome.
A good place to come, so thank you, Monique. Good tip.
I can't believe how warm it is today. Definite t-shirt weather. It must be 17 to 18 degrees, I would guess, today maybe.
Easily.
And there's no wind. So sorry to all of you guys back in the UK. I know you've been having bad storms, bad rain and really bad weather. And hopefully some of this is heading your way soon. And the marina's got lots of places that you can eat, and everybody behind us is sat down and enjoying this beautiful sunshine that we have today. There's a guy up on the top of the cathedral doing some maintenance work on a rope. Rather him than me.
I've just updated Polar Steps with some photographs. So if you want to follow us live, you can actually see photos. I post them as we go around. So enjoy. There's a really nice and economical way to eat street food here in Croatia. They've got a dish called savapi, and it is like the kebab meat, and it's 100% Croatian beef in like a kebab stick, and they put it in this really lovely bread, and you can then choose whether you want onions. They've got like a red paprika sauce, which isn't spicy, just flavoursome, and you can have tomatoes or cucumber or lettuce as well. So guess what we're having for
lunch? So we've come back to Trudy to have our lunch before we head off. These sandwiches are actually very reasonably priced. It was £5.90 for two, and I did actually get 7 little sausages of mine. Not that I'm greedy at all.
And it's the main meal for the day.
That's it. That will keep us going.
It's massive.
Almost 2 meals in one, I would say. You could definitely share one of those. If you get the opportunity to come down the Croatian coastline, you really should do it. It is literally every corner you go round, there is another beautiful little village tucked away next to the blue water and overlooked by mountains. And the sun is just starting to go down. It's golden hour, and it's all looking pretty awesome tonight. We're just sat at some traffic lights, enjoying the blue sea.
Stunning.
You don't mind being stuck at the traffic lights for 5 minutes when it looks like that. So we found this little spot near just south of the town of Gradak, and it's not our normal spot because you can see behind we're actually next to the sort of main road that runs down the coast. But I think it should do. We're heading over, like I said, to Bosnia tomorrow, so this is more out of convenience rather than beauty today. But I think we're in for a beautiful sunset. So the plan is we'll get up reasonably early tomorrow and do our first border crossing outside of into a non-EU country. So yeah, so that should be a little bit more adventurous. Well, it's our last morning waking up in Croatia.
Whoop, Croatia!
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
So today, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, we're heading over to Bosnia. And we just want to talk to you about what we do before we do a border crossing. This is the first one outside the EU. So what we always do is we check our British Foreign Office website just for travel information in case there's any situations that change because we're out of touch with the news. And we also have Marianne, before we left, she got very organized, and we've got, you know, driving regulations in Bosnia and just general information of the country we're going into, and we've got that for all of the countries, so we check that out first, and then we just get the paperwork ready so that on the border, if they want to search the vehicle, check our stuff, see the paperwork, we're all organized.
We are. So we're going to have our breakfast and then we're going to head off. I think it's only about...
We're about an hour away, I think.
Yeah.
But the it's interesting, on the website it says that foreign nationals have to register with the police within 72 hours. We also need to try and buy insurance on the border as well, because our insurance doesn't cover Bosnia.
And a SIM.
And a SIM, so we can keep in touch. Another good thing that's worth remembering is that your SIM card, if you have one from back home, may not work in non-EU countries. Ours doesn't work, so we've remembered to turn off our phones just to avoid any of those unnecessary roaming charges. So we're just coming up to the border with Bosnia, so leaving Croatia. So it's 9:30 and the cameras are off. So we've just crossed over into Bosnia, and you have to have your insurance. So we're just buying our green card now, and then we have to go back to the immigration office. Okay, it's all good. We have the green card. It was 20 euros. So make sure you have some euros. We had a 50 euro note. They didn't have change, but I did have some Croatian money left, which I was able to pay in. And you get the green card from the little restaurant area just next to the border.
I have stamps.
Another thing, it's recommended, just check they stamp your passport. They didn't actually stamp our passport, so we've just taken it back. Just for proof that we've entered, and when we entered, it's always a sensible thing to do. Okay, onwards to Mostar.
And did Chris mention that Marianne got lost and walked straight into the police office?
No, we did. Don't go in this building here. We walked in there and came face to face with the policeman having his lunch. Yay! We are officially in country number 24 for Tread the Globe, Bosnia.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Although, to be honest, we did actually have to discuss how many countries it was because we'd lost count.
I'm still not convinced.
Not convinced. The border crossing actually wasn't too bad. We're on our way, and it's 9:56, and to be honest, we didn't hurry. The biggest check was coming out of Croatia. They made us open the van, they looked in all the cupboards. They wanted to know if we had any wine or cigarettes.
Or weapons.
Or weapons.
And I just want to say, I'm not happy. They laughed at my axe.
Marianne said she had an axe for cutting wood and they wanted to see it. And when they saw the size of it, the policeman just laughed.
I'm unimpressed by people laughing at my axe.
He pointed us to say, go and buy your green card and then come back. They kept the passports until they were happy, gave us the passports back, and then that's it. We are now on our way driving through Bosnia. Don't look down.
Don't want to look.
Don't look down.
Don't want to look.
So we've arrived in Mostar. It's a really big place. We've put the centre in the sat-nav and we're just driving around to try and find the centre. This is the joy of not having any data. Obviously you can't check your phones and find little spots, but we're just going to go with it and see where we end up. So we've arrived in Mostar in Bosnia and we found this little parking lot. It is chargeable. We're not sure how much yet, so the first thing we need to do is try and find an ATM to get some money and just have a little look around. It's definitely a bit colder, we're a bit higher up today. So it's interesting, as we parked in the car park, a lady came over and said it's $5 to park there and wanted some cash. And we explained we didn't have any cash with us, but we've since actually found out that it's not that lady at all. You have to pay in the kiosk, so just be aware who you pay for things. So that's super nice. A gentleman just stopped and directed us towards the old bridge. He says you have to see the old bridge in Mostar, and he was explaining that this area during the war was really heavily destroyed, and all of these buildings, including the bridge and everything, you know, like the building you can see behind me, like the hotel that's been rebuilt over there. So yeah, fascinating. So let's go see if we can find the bridge. He also gave us a recommendation for some lunch, for some traditional food.
This city comes across as a city of two halves. Coming into the old part is mesmerising. All the old rocks and the way it's constructed, it's really been preserved and protected. It's very touristy, but you can feel the tragedy almost that happened here, the way they would have been fighting. It's really a city of two halves. All the new stuff, all the old stuff, and it's just absolutely stunning. Many times they've been worn down to a slippery slope. There is a tourist souvenir for everyone, whether it's a fridge magnet, a bracelet, a scarf, anything. They've got every market for souvenirs covered here. But the buildings are stunning.
Walking around the old town here in Mostar, it's just amazing. Got a real nice feel and character as you walk around, with little cobbled streets and lots of souvenirs, and this amazingly blue river. We've said it on quite a few videos about the colour of the sea and the water over here, but I've never seen a river the same colour. It's stunning. And the skyline with the mountains, the mosque behind us. Amazing. It is much windier here, and the wind is quite cool because we are slightly higher up. We're just leaving Mostar, and a very pretty town, especially the old part of the town. And we're heading to a place called Dervish House, which has been recommended and looks like an interesting little stop. So we'll go and pop in there on the way as we carry on heading south. We've arrived in the town of Prague that you can see here, and it's famous for two things: for this wonderful house on the picture here, and for a fortress that you can see right on top of the hill. We've managed to find some parking that you can see behind us, and the car park attendant, a lovely guy called Riyadh, we asked him if it was okay to sleep here as well, and he said yes, and it was only like £3.50. So I think the plan is we're going to sleep here, and there's some restaurants nearby, so we'll try and find some local food and maybe have a cheeky glass of beer or something.
Date night!
Date night!
I love date night!
So let's go and have a little look around. It's nice travelling in low season. Again, I say it feels like we've almost got the place to ourselves.
One of my favourite things about travelling is you get to see things that you wouldn't ordinarily see. What an office view I have today. And you can see all the water gushing out, coming down from the mountains. And the wind is very cold. We found a little pathway up behind one of the restaurants, and we're going to go up and see if we can get a better view of this house. It's only a couple of euros each to go in, but as we've said all along, our challenge is to drive around the world. So although we're visiting some places, our budget is tight, but we want to show you the best of what we can see. We have just met some incredibly cool guys from Turkey, and we are going to hook up and eat the best Turkish food.
In Istanbul!
Yeah, baby! In Istanbul! Woohoo!
We're coming!
We're coming! Not far from Mostar, we're going on down. We're going south, so we've stopped off in this little village where the dervish house is, and we thought we'd treat ourselves to some dinner. And we found this restaurant. It's a bit of a gem, really. So there's the river down there. The fortress is up there. You've got the river goes all the way down the side of this restaurant here. And then they've got this terrace, so you can actually sit out. And it's smashing, really, because it's a local place run by local people. The chef is his wife, the other chef is his brother, and although we wild camp, so we try and not spend as much money as we can and do it as economically as possible, it's really nice when you can actually support a local family, run a business. The lovely guy at the parking area suggested that we try out this local restaurant because they do local foods. And I've ordered the famous Bosnian soup, and it comes in a lovely little tagine looking pot. Look at that. Oh, that smells good. We might be ordering two. This is a meat and vegetable soup. It's very common here apparently in Bosnia. It really smells lovely. That's exactly what you want. It's really hearty, meaty, vegetable-y, and delicious.
And a Bosnian beer.
We actually decided that we were going to have a date night, and we thought we'd wait till we got to Bosnia to do it. So, yes, cheers.
Cheers.
So after that delicious soup, we are now going to try a meat and onion pastry, which is called
Burek.
Burek.
Yes.
So burek is a beef and onion in pastry pie. Now Bosnia is famous for its pies. Everybody's told me there's cabbage pies, beef pies, vegetable pies. You have to eat pie. So this gentleman has very kindly got his wife to share some of her pie, because it's actually closed season in Bosnia at the moment. So we're really super lucky to actually find a restaurant that's open. So they've actually brought this from home for us to try. So we're delighted. Everyone's so nice.
Nice.
That is good.
Thank you.
Your wife's a good cook.
She is really a good cook. It's really yummy. It's really lovely. Nope, not sharing this one. This is Smok Vada, and it is a local cake made with fig jam. It's like a really moist polenta, like falling apart polenta. Is it made with polenta?
Ah, get you
genius.
in your skills.
But it's like, polenta can be really dry and quite hard, but this is really wet and moist. So it just like literally falls apart in your mouth. And then
It's 3:30 in the morning. And I don't know whether you can hear. There's a lot of dogs barking.
That is definitely the downside to van life in or sleeping in towns, isn't
In the
it?
town. The dogs. Oh. There's a lot of dogs.
I'm gonna go and find a tree tonight.
I'm finding a tree tonight. Anyway. Earplug time. Well, that was a bit of a dodgy night's sleep. Dogs barking all night. And earplugs are a wonder when you're in a van. And also, I'm slightly deaf in one ear, so when I put an earplug in and roll on the one side, it does help. But yeah, we did have a bit of a sleepless night, didn't we?
I love dogs, but I don't like Bosnian dogs anymore.
Not in the middle of the night. But the thing is, they have them outside.
Yeah,
so
they're left outside.
They all talk to each other because they're guard
Yeah.
dogs. And then,
One alerts and then that's it. They're all off telling each other there might be a danger.
we heard there was a tap nearby, so we're armed with water bottles to see if we can top Trudy up while we're near a water source. And it's another beautiful day. We found water.
Marion's wearing
And I can't actually believe that that is the water source, and Trudy is literally just there. We didn't realise it was so close. So yeah, so these bags that Marianne's using here are perfect for getting under little taps, because there's no way we'd get our big water tap under that tap. And mountain water is absolutely lovely. So we're all topped up with water. Coffee is made. And today we're going to start heading south down towards the border of Montenegro. It's not actually that far, so probably a couple of hours drive today. One thing we have noticed driving around Bosnia is there, you know, a bit like Central America, there's a lot of plastic and rubbish by the sides of the road. I suppose back home we take for granted of good rubbish collections and things like that. And if you don't have good rubbish collections, what do you do with it apart from throw it away or burn it? One thing we've noticed in Bosnia is there's lots of bees. As you drive around the roads, you see these pockets of bees, almost like bee farms, and that's really good for nature and stuff. I've never seen so many bees all together in one place. You definitely have a good honey crop with that many beehives. We've turned off the main road, just going down a small little lane to try and find somewhere to park up for the rest of the day and tonight. We're a little bit small. Hopefully we don't meet anything coming the other way.
I was going to say, it's only small if you meet something, it's alright otherwise.
So we found this little spot tucked away in the valley. And it's perfect because we're not far from the border for the crossing tomorrow into Montenegro, and it's nice and quiet. There shouldn't be any dogs here tonight. We should get a good night's sleep. Nice. It really does feel like we're parked up in the middle of nowhere, and there's this river. It looks man-made actually. The side looks man-made, but oh wow, how it's clear water, mountain water. There's little villages dotted around in the mountains, you can see. There's not a lot else. Actually, there's some writing over here. I'm not sure that I really expected to understand what it says. And there's Trudy, tucked away in the trees there. So here's a view you don't see from your van every day.
That dog is beautiful.
Hello puppy, and a herd of sheep. Hello. How lovely, we've got a shepherd going past.
Hi.
Bok! Bok!
Bok!
Bok!
Bok!
Hello, my friend. Ah, England.
English.
Yeah, English.
This one.
Ah, English.
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 Dobro.
Hello.
Dobro.
Dobro dan. What a lovely encounter. What a beautiful man. Bok is like the local hi, and Dobro dan is good day, and he was pointing at the sun, and he was really excited to meet us, and he wanted us to say hello to his dogs, and a really beautiful gnarly old man with a face that's seen it all. It's lovely. I love it. We found a little park spot just over the road. Oh, hang on, the phone's ringing. And there's a boat called the Adriatic Princess.
There you go. Is that you?
I want to be a princess.
My little princess.
And I've just updated our poll. You're wobbling, the camera's all over the place. 24. Let's do 24 and 23.
I don't know where we are. Who are you? Where are we? I don't know. Where have you been? I don't know. Okay, cut.
Date night.
Let's have a date night.
Gonna have a date night. Gonna have a date night in Bosnia.
We do apologise if the audio is a little bit windy today. Yes, she is nuts. Meat and onion, oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't see any big tour groups coming around the corner yet.
Not yet.
So we're just sitting in here quietly, just catching up on a couple of emails, and there's actually a huge coach that has just pulled up